The first thing the Galactic Council noticed was not the weapon signature. It was the silence. Across the Perseus Verge, long-range arrays had detected an anomaly that did not behave like a ship, a star, or a natural phenomenon. It did not emit radiation in any expected band. It did not distort gravity the way mass should. It did not leave wake scars in subspace. It was simply there. And then it was gone. For 3 cycles, the anomaly repeated, appearing for a fraction of a heartbeat, then vanishing as if embarrassed by its own existence. Council analysts labeled it a sensor ghost. Military tacticians quietly upgraded it to a potential threat. Priests of the old energies called it a blasphemy. Humans, notably, said nothing. That was the first mistake. The Galactic Council chamber was built for intimidation, a hollow sphere 1,000 meters wide, layered with holographic stars and rotating sigils of authority. It placed every delegate on a narrow balcony facing a shared void. No one sat higher than another. No one stood at the center. Equality enforced by architecture. Today, the chamber was tense. Again, demanded High Strategist Varel of the Kith Dominion, his chitinous limbs clicking sharply against the railing. The anomaly appeared within 12 light hours of our forward bastion. Again, it vanished before interception. And again, his multifaceted eyes narrowed. Human sensors somehow failed to record it. Ambassador Lin Wei did not react. She stood with hands folded behind her back, dark uniform immaculate, expression neutral to the point of serenity. Our sensors reported nothing unusual, she said calmly, as previously stated. A ripple of irritation spread across the chamber. You expect us to believe that? Hissed Delegate Sakaith of the Thalary Swarm. Your species thrives on detection, on mapping the unknown. You see everything. Lin inclined her head slightly. We see what exists. The words echoed longer than they should have. Counselor YNN of the Aurelian Concord raised a luminescent wing. Ambassador, if humans are not responsible, then you must admit the danger. Something operates beyond our detection paradigms. Lin met YNN's gaze. For a moment, something old and heavy flickered behind her eyes. Yes, she said, that is correct. Then why? Varel demanded. Do your fleets remain idle? Why have you not deployed your considerable assets? Silence. Finally, Lin spoke. Because deploying them would make the situation worse. Far beyond the Council's borders, beyond mapped space and named voids, something vast moved. It did not travel. Travel implied distance, transition, time. This thing simply decided to be elsewhere. Within its layered reality shell, physics obeyed by permission only. Time flowed forward, sideways, sometimes backward, but never without supervision. Energy was not consumed, matter was not expended. Everything that happened inside happened because it was allowed. The humans called it the Quietus Hall. Not a ship. A conclusion. Commander Raphael Ionescu stood at the observation threshold, watching a star collapse and reassemble itself in a more efficient configuration. Report, he said. The Council is arguing again, replied Dr. Amara Voss, her voice calm despite the impossible math scrolling across her station. They suspect us, they always do. Raphael nodded. They should. The Quietus Hall had no windows. What they saw was not light but a negotiated interpretation of reality, translated into something the human mind could tolerate. Outside, the ship's presence forced the universe to compromise. How long until the anomaly triggers full mobilization? Raphael asked. 2, maybe 3 cycles, Amara replied. They're afraid. Fear accelerates decision-making. Raphael allowed himself a thin smile. Good. Amara turned. You sound pleased. I'm relieved, he said. We're almost done. Humanity had learned long ago that power was not something you displayed. It was something you hid until the universe forced your hand. Their early history had taught them that civilizations responded to strength in only 2 ways, submission or extermination. Neither led to coexistence, so humanity evolved differently. They did not build the biggest fleets. They built the last answer. The Quietus Hall was born not from ambition, but from terror, from simulations that showed 1,000 futures, each ending the same way, a galactic coalition deciding that humans were too dangerous to be allowed to continue. Too adaptable. Too fast. Too unpredictable. So humanity did the unthinkable. They designed something they never intended to use. When the first human exploratory vessels reached the galactic stage, they were underestimated. Their ships were angular, inefficient, and lacked the aesthetic elegance of elder races. Their weapons were crude, their diplomacy blunt. But their learning curve was vertical. Where others refined, humans reinvented. Where others optimized, humans broke rules and wrote new ones. Every conflict ended the same way. Humans lost ground, humans adapted, humans won. And every victory made the galaxy more nervous. The Quietus Hull was not a weapon. Weapons existed to win wars. The Quietus Hull existed to end the concept of war entirely. Back in the council chamber, the argument reached its breaking point. "We propose a unified strike," Varel declared. "Whatever this anomaly is, it violates council sovereignty. If the humans will not act, we must." Several delegates murmured agreement. Ambassador Lin closed her eyes. When she opened them, the chamber quieted. "You are afraid," she said. "I understand that, but you must understand this in return." She activated a single hologram. Not a weapon schematic. A timeline. "Humanity has survived 3 extinction-level events of our own making," she said. "Climate collapse, nuclear brinkmanship, autonomous warfare." The images shifted. Cities burning, seas rising, machines turning on creators. "We learned something each time," Lin continued softly. "Not how to win, how not to lose." Varel scoffed. "This is irrelevant." "No," Lin said, "it is everything." The timeline zoomed forward. Humanity reaching the stars. First contact. First war. First victory. Then a branching path. Thousands of simulated futures. In most, humans were eliminated. In a few, the galaxy was. And in exactly one. Silence. "What is that?" whispered YNN. Lin hesitated. "That," she said, "is the future in which we never surface?" The anomaly appeared again. This time, it stayed. Every sensor across the Perseus verge screamed at once. Gravitational constants fluctuated, causality lagged. Ships found themselves kilometers off course without having moved. Then the space between stars folded. Not collapsed. Folded. Something vast unfolded within it, not emerging but allowing itself to be perceived. The Quietus Hull did not decloak. Cloaking implied concealment. It simply stopped hiding itself from reality. Across a million worlds, beings looked up at their skies and felt a pressure they could not name. Not fear, not awe. Finality. The ship was not large by visual standards. No planet-cracking silhouette, no spines or cannons. It was smooth, featureless, a shape that refused to be remembered clearly. And it was impossible. Energy readings spiked and vanished. Mass readings contradicted themselves. Every attempt to model its behavior caused prediction engines to crash. "This is impossible," breathed Sakaith. "No," Lin said quietly, "it is intentional." Within the Quietus Hull, alarms did not sound. The ship did not recognize threats. It recognized inevitabilities. "Council fleets are mobilizing," Amara reported. 17 species, 3,000 capital vessels. Raphael nodded. "As expected." "You realize," Amara said carefully, "that if we proceed, there's no going back." Raphael looked at her. "We were never supposed to go back," he said. He opened a channel. For the first time in history, the Quietus Hull spoke. Not with sound. With understanding. Every mind that perceived it received the same message, translated perfectly into their own cognition. "We are human." The council chamber erupted. Shields up. Targeting solutions failing. What is it doing? The message continued. "We did not build this to rule you." Stars dimmed. "We did not build this to save you." Entire fleets lost power, not through attack, but through quiet denial. The laws governing their reactors simply stopped applying. "We built this because someday, someone would decide we should not exist." Varel screamed orders that went unanswered. The message finished. "This ship was never meant to surface. If you can perceive it, you have already made your choice." Raphael exhaled. "Phase 1 complete," he said. Outside, the universe adjusted. Not violently. Politely. Trade routes collapsed as distances redefined themselves, military corridors folded into dead ends, hyperlanes forgot where they led. No explosions. No casualties. Just irrelevance. Galactic power structures unraveled in hours. Empires found their fleets stranded light-years from supply, councils lost the ability to project force, borders ceased to matter. Human worlds were untouched. Not because they were protected, but because the Quietus Hall considered them necessary variables. In the council chamber, Lin Wei stood alone. The others were still alive, still conscious, but diminished, not physically, conceptually. Their authority no longer had context. Varel slumped against the railing. You've ended us. Lin shook her head. No, she said, we ended the conditions that made you dangerous. YNN looked up. Why spare us? Lin's expression softened. Because we remember what it was like to be afraid, she said, and because this ship is too powerful to exist. What happens now? Sakaith asked. Lin looked toward the invisible presence that still pressed against reality. Now, she said, it leaves. The Quietus Hall began to withdraw. Not moving. Choosing not to be here. As it faded, the universe sighed in relief. Physics reasserted itself, stars burned normally, distances stabilized. But the damage was done. No one could forget the moment the humans had revealed what they were capable of. And then chosen not to rule. Within the ship, Raphael watched the last traces of perception vanish. We're ghosts again, Amara said softly. Raphael nodded. Good, he replied, ghosts don't get hunted. The Quietus Hall slipped fully beyond reality, returning to a state that could not be detected, targeted, or remembered clearly. Human space went quiet. The galaxy was left changed. Empires fell not to war, but to humility. Cooperation replaced conquest, not out of idealism, but survival. And somewhere beyond existence, humanity kept its final answer hidden. Not as a threat, but as a reminder. Some power is too great to be used. Some ships are too powerful to exist. And humanity never intended to surface again.